So we're trying out Vegeta on the Super Saiyans team. We've jumped into the Zamasu red zone stage first of all. Because as I talked about yesterday in the Omega video, it's like we definitely need to put some of these better events on Global that are a bit more fun to try out units in. But, you know, I want to try and jump into a slightly harder event, but that isn't full of AoEs, you know. So... typical, of course, first attack of the entire event is the super immediately in slot 1. But considering he's a tech unit, which mine is 69%, even that kind of damage in slot 1 is actually good for this particular setup, right? This scenario. No support on the rotation. I think he only shares like 2 links with the LR Super Saiyans before he transforms. So he did get fully built up in the first turn as well. I haven't played this. Yeah, exactly. Like, that's the thing with it sounds like a meme, but like we always say on Global that like that period after the anniversary happens on JP, when we're waiting for the anniversary to then happen on Global, is kind of disappointing. Like, but it's really true because so much content came out in this anniversary this time. So many events. Like, we got the Blue Zone, which has like, was it 8 stages? The new Movie Bosses Red Zone that has 7 stages. There's that movies special event, the Super Movies, that has like 4 stages. There's so many new events that you can jump into. Like, if you pull a new unit and you want to go test them out in some events, like on Global, you've got Omega, Zamasu, you've got the Trunks in the Divine Wrath and Mortal Will thing is quite tough. But yeah, it's just like, there's just not a lot of events really worth like going crazy over. Which is just unfortunate, because that's not bad. Especially with like the release of like Vegeta, considering if you think about just Zamasu and Omega specifically, Vegeta himself is just so good, or so clear of those events. It's his team that is the issue. So yeah, it's one of those things, like I say, we're always looking forward to the anniversary after it happens on JP for Global. But I feel like now even more so, just because it's not just the units. Like, the units are all good, the Easy A's are all good, and we get tons of new events to play. So, yeah, July cannot get here quickly enough in terms of the game. Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens for Golden Week, but... but yeah, neither of those events are fun for showcasing units and teams, in terms of, like, for me, for making videos, because AoEs are just so annoying and restrict your team building by so much. That's why we jump into these other different events sometimes if we want to show off stuff. Like, the whole point was I want to show off Vegeta on the Super Saiyans team, but the LR Super Saiyans are not particularly good against AoEs. So... and then, of course, the problem is then when you jump into one of these other events, then, like, I don't want to say too easy, but... I mean, look at how quickly the Super Saiyans are just destroying this guy, right? So if we do that, and then we'll just do that. What's your most and least wanted thing for Golden Week? I mean, it's hard to say, right? Because a dual Dokkan Fest, it's tough to think about what they would pick. Baby and Super Saiyan 4 Goku, I think, is a good one, just because we still really need a Dokkan Fest Baby. But, like, make the Goku, like, Super Saiyan 3 GT Goku that transforms into Super Saiyan 4 or something, because I feel like we don't need another Super Saiyan 4 Goku. With the Tanabata LR starting off as Super Saiyan 4 Goku, right? So give us, like, Super Saiyan 3 GT Goku that transforms into Super Saiyan 4. And make it like Vegeta, right, where he can literally transform on the next turn or something, just so we can get Super Saiyan 4 Goku out, because that's what everybody wants. Because then, yeah, there's a bunch of old, like, GT units that really need their Easy A's. I think that could work. Least wanted would be, and I know this will annoy the DB Saga fans, but I've said it before, as much as I respect DB Saga and, like, the roots of where Dragon Ball came from, anything like that, like, if it was, like, Goku versus TN from the 22nd World Tournament or something, that would be basically 0 hype for me. Just above that, in terms of almost 0 hype, would be Kid Goku versus Demon King Piccolo. The only reason is because it's not even because I dislike those fights or anything, but when it comes to Dokkan and the teams that I like to run, I like the teams like Power Beyond Super Saiyan and like the Realm of Gods Extreme, like the, you know, some of these big crazy characters. So when they bring out a Dragon Ball Saga character, they don't go on any of the teams that I like to run. So therefore they're not super hype for me, right? Wow, Trunks got absolutely annihilated. Jeez. I think I mentioned it in the video yesterday, but I had someone comment on a video about like, why does everyone pretend like Birdcoo doesn't exist anymore? And it's like, because he fell off. I mean, 100k from the first attack, 350 from the super, and there you go. We've lost 450k HP before we even got to do anything on the turn. It's not his fault, it's just like the worldwide celebration content is just not good for him. Omega, he can still be decent, but he suffers from that same issue that Vegeta did when we were doing the showcase, where if you put him in slot 1 and then he just immediately gets supered, so he gets stunned or sealed, then he can't do anything. He can't build up for the later part of the fight when it does actually get harder. So yeah, and then when it comes to the anniversary content, he can be okay at the beginning when he needs to get a little bit of build up, but then those things ramp up so much, especially with how much some of the bosses do on their like post super attack normals after they've buffed themselves. Like he just can't hack it in those events anymore, which is unfortunate. Some of them you can still get away with it, but like, yeah, certain events you just absolutely can't. Okay, so this is how I would want to run this rotation, right? So let's do this, this, and then this. Now this is going to be the problem if you have a Vegeta on the team, if you're running like the Super Saiyans build. You want him to get his attacks to get stacks. I mean, I could have just put him in slot 1, but he's got to get hits to get his stacks in. Fortunately, I think one of the best things about this Vegeta in terms of slotting him into other teams is he doesn't really need a lot of ki, right? Like we had the 2, he only needed 2 ki to super this turn, and then we're all good. So it does mean that units like the Super Saiyans that want to pick up tons of orbs, like he's not taking away from them in the same way that like God Goku is, right, on certain rotations depending on the orb changing. So that works out quite nicely. But I do have King Vegeta. I have King Vegeta rainbowed, funnily enough. I pulled, my Vegeta's only 69%, so I only got 2 copies of him, but I did rainbow King Vegeta. And they are both level 10 links. I'm actually super impressed with how good King Vegeta is. The only downside for him is he's not good against AoEs. But when I did that versus Fusion Zamasu showcase, he tanked an Int Fusion Zamasu super for double-digit damage with no items or anything active, which I think is pretty good. Oh, right, yeah, we're going to get the revive. So, yeah, this is the other thing as well. If you drop below that HP, then also we're now just going to immediately die. I mean, I could just use this, I guess. Do a bit of damage here. I mean, I say a bit. 21 million is pretty good. And then I can grab some... I mean, there's not really... I was going to say grab some orbs to get a bit of a heal, but, I mean, we're just going to die anyway, right? Oh, well, okay. I was going to say, it'd be interesting to see how much this normal does. What a roller coaster that was. I was going to say, it'd be interesting to see how much this normal does without his guard. But then it was a super, so it would just be instantly dead. But then he dodged it. And then it was 592k with their post-super. Yeah, if we put Birdcoo slot 3, Future Gohan potentially just dies anyway. Well, he would have if it was a slot 1 super. My Future Gohan has barely any dodge. I believe a stacking unit should have multiple supers or greatly stack. Yeah, that's why it's so good that Vegeta, basically, he has a guaranteed additional super for the first 3 turns. Then you have the chance to get an extra super if there's a Goku. So if you have a Goku on rotation, in the first 3 turns, he can super 4 times, which is really good. Yeah, World Tournament is this weekend, yeah. Yeah, imagine if he gets damage reduction, but then also has the lower your HP, the higher his damage reduction. So on the turn where his revival is active, he actually has quite decent damage reduction, because then you can always still just play it so that somebody else on the rotation gets killed, and then he revives. So I think that'll work out quite nicely. I mean, what a turn this is. I could have just used the active skill, but I want to see, like, all of the damage in total here. The problem as well with the shorter events is just, like, I could have transformed Vegeta straight away. But in my mind, I'm just always, like, with these stacking units, it's like, well, on this turn, he still has the damage reduction, and he can get a bunch of extra stacks here. So I don't want to transform him. But with how short this event is, we probably won't get another turn with Vegeta now, because the Super Saiyans are about to do a ton of damage. Future Gohan will do decent damage. And then the next turn, like, they're not going to live the next turn. So, yeah, Vegeta got all 4 attacks again, although the hidden potential was only a normal. So, I mean, you got to remember at this point, even at 69%, after taking his hits to get his passive fully built up in base, and after supering, he's, like, well over 1 million defense with guard. And because he's still in those first 3 turns, it's got 18% damage.
Do you want to taste the power of the ultimate android?
Shout out to Weekend at Bernie's for the subscription. I appreciate you. Not going to lie, I expect every Easy A to be trash just in case. Say your expectations low and then you'll never be disappointed, as the meme goes. But look at that. They ate the super. I mean, they got type advantage, but still. That super does hit pretty hard. They ate that for double-digit damage. I don't think they can screw up that World Tournament High School Gohan, though. Because just by giving him Easy A stats... and then he has 58% damage reduction. Like, there's not really much they can do to mess him. I mean, even if they didn't give him anything, just by having Easy A stats and 58% damage reduction, he'd be okay. And that's if they didn't change his unit at all. They didn't give him any extra in his passive, nothing. They just gave him the Easy A stats. He would still be okay. Probably still not great against, like, the toughest bosses, super attacks and things like that. But you got to think, at, like, the bare minimum, they're going to give him attack and defense in his passive and stuff like that. So I'm expecting that High School Gohan to be really good. But yeah, there's Vegeta on the Super Saiyans team versus Zamasu. I mean, Vegeta himself, just a very, very good slot 1 unit. Holds down the fort. We'll jump into another event as well. But, of course, with these shorter events, like I say, if you only have 1 of him, so he's only on every other turn, you're not going to see him as much. He's not going to get to do as much. And, of course, with the Super Saiyans team, the LR Super Saiyans do a ridiculous amount of damage, and you get through the event fairly quickly. So, let's jump into another event as well. Alright, so, we're in the Trunks Mortal Will event. We got Vegeta on turn 1, but no Goku, sadly. I think for the sake of the... oh, you actually do get an extra link as well. For the sake of the defensive capability, because no one would really lose any HP on the rotation before Future Gohan actually got to go at the end of the turn, which then means he would not have any extra damage reduction, so that would not be great for him. So we'll go ahead and put Future Gohan at the end. Yeah, Mortal Will. I mean, this will be a good stage. Vegeta just, you know, Vegeta will dominate all content on Global. It just all comes down to the teams. Trying him out on the Super Saiyan team is interesting because, of course, when we get to the physical Trunks phase, the LR Super Saiyans are going to have type disadvantage. But this team can put out so much damage that potentially we can be okay, right? But yeah, no Goku on the starting rotation, and we did not get the additional super from the hidden potential, sadly. So only 2 supers for Vegeta on the first turn here. Double super for Future Gohan's good though. Not bad attack stat for him as well, considering him getting the extra links from the LR. And then Future Gohan, of course, not supporting the Vegeta. He's just kind of on the team because he's good for the team, right? I suppose, to be fair, actually, this is the Super Saiyans team, but this event, at least, would be interesting to try out King Vegeta, because King Vegeta is actually really good, as long as there's no AoEs. I was genuinely impressed with his performance when we did the Int Zamasu run. The fact that he tanked Int Zamasu's super attack for double-digit damage. I was definitely not expecting that. Yeah, see, Future Gohan just eats that super in the last slot. You love to see it. Oh, I didn't realise we had double Super Saiyans rotation. Well, that's awkward. Unfortunately, Goku doesn't need guard, but yeah, that's not what we would have ideally wanted, is it? Also, neither is this, with like no key. Yikes. No key and no links as well. Oof. This could be a bit awkward. Yeah, I didn't even realise when we jumped in that we had double LR Super Saiyans on the second turn. That's not really what we want, is it? I mean, these guys, we got 9 orbs with them, so they're going to do okay here. But plus, we could actually get the full supers turn since we did get the 9 orbs. I mean, looking good so far. This unit was such a cool release. Like that, this December was pretty cool for the end of the year for the game, considering it was all both versions at the same time as well. It's pretty cool. Yeah, that's some pretty good damage. He's going to super the ones at the end, isn't he? Because they're not getting their 18 key super, so they're not getting like any defense. And they've got no links active. Bruh, this Trunks.
My money don't jiggle jiggle. It folds.
Hey, shout out to Sokado for the $5 super chat. Challenge impossible. Take a shot every time someone in chat asks when the super ECA drops when the timer's on the screen. True. Right. I mean, will I get another turn after this? Probably. So let's do this. We'll do this. And we'll get a, hopefully Goku won't get clapped up here at the end, but we'll see. Nice, okay, well, I mean, Vegeta 200k slot 1, pre-super. We got a Goku on the rotation now, though, so we're getting a guaranteed third attack, even if it only ends up being a normal. And then, of course, hidden potential. So we could get the quad super turn on this turn. Get these stacks in here. Okay, let's go. Alright, well, there you go. That's the Vegeta turn we like to see. No crits, though, sadly, but Teacher Gohan's damage reduction will be active after we ate that super. Oh, sorry, it wasn't active until he ate the first normal. Then it was. Yeah, LRs, red coins, a lot of the time should just be saved for Dokkan Fest LRs. Because then when the big celebrations like the anniversary... Oof, big celebrations like the anniversary and the worldwide celebration then give you loads of... the banners have loads of LRs on. And then that's where you get the... Alright, these guys got a lot of supers during their turn. So if we go... If we do this... Yeah, so we've got no... We're not going to get the... we're not really going to get any Vegeta, like, shine in this... this last part of the run here. But, I mean, he works well enough on the team, right? The big thing the Super Saiyans team needed for a while was another really strong slot 1 character. Because, I mean, we kind of are relying on God Goku. But he did get the dodge. The thing is, if he doesn't finish him off, even with the guard, because this Trunks hits so hard, if Trunks super attacks God Goku and he doesn't dodge, then we would die. So, like, the Super Saiyans team needed a really good slot 1 unit, and they got it with that Vegeta. It's just the problem of, as we said in some of the other videos we've done with this Vegeta on Global, is the events. It's not just Vegeta's team, but even when you're throwing him onto other teams like this, it's the events on Global. We just don't have any of the longer events. So, from the good aspect of that for Global, it means that he clearly was designed with the anniversary content in mind, because he's better in the events that are slightly longer, so you can get more time to stack up and then transform and everything. But yeah, I mean, he's still good, right? So he's a good option on the Super Saiyans team, very strong slot 1 unit. The LR Super Saiyans can still go crazy, so it's definitely a good team option for him. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section of Vegeta on the Super Saiyans team. Definitely a solid option and a good slot 1 unit for the team, which it desperately needed, especially with the harder events making Tech Carnival Goku a little bit irrelevant now, but it is what it is. So there you go. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Master Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the link down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.